to address, many of which we will also be allowing public input on. So with that background, I call upon, and I'm going to call 3 names at a time, and I just ask that you get ready to testify when you hear your name. The first 3 are Sam Bellamio, Alex Zimmerman, and Mia Jacobson.
And Mia would like to go out of order before me.
That'll be fine.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, so I'm speaking today about the ordinances approving and authorizing the King County Executive to do these particular actions in 14, 15, and 16. And I know you've heard us before talking about ordinances or commenting on these ordinances that authorize him to enter into these agreements. And the reason that we object to these is because of the lack of public accountability that the executive operates under. He never meets with the public he's intended to represent. He doesn't have an open schedule. And so what we're objecting to is the concept that there's no external check for any of his choices. I understand that you guys work internally between the legislative and the executive branch, but in the times of today, it seems as if the checks and balances between the branches themselves don't really seem to be working out. I suspect and put forth that there needs to be a final check, which is the check of the people, for them to understand what's happening, what the representatives are doing, and why. And right now, the executive has no opportunity for the people to discuss it with him, to hear his reasoning behind it, to be present for these choices, which affect their lives. And this is the people's government. We are supposed to be a really important part of the process. And so the idea that our executive can make these choices and never have to speak to us, never have to answer our questions, is one of the reasons why things have gotten so bad between the government and its people, why it's so difficult for us to feel as if we're being accurately represented, because there's no communication, there's no accountability, there's no real transparency. And a lot of things need to change if we're going to get ourselves out of the situation that we're in today, because the way that we're doing things now has brought us here. And so, again, we object to this ordinance, 14, 15, and 16, because the King County Executive isn't living up to the standards that we need from our executive to accurately and appropriately represent the people. Thank you.
So my name is Sam Bellamio. I'm here with StandUP-America, and we do come every week speaking to you about issues, and we always speak about how the executive is here giving an award for the last hour and a half, but he isn't here any longer. When is it that he stands here before the people and understands the people's concerns and needs? Where is the check and balance from you, the legislative branch, to ensure that we, the people, have a voice to our government? There is no check and balance anymore. It's a family. And I am going to start saying personally that it's responsible for each of you to start stepping up to the plate, holding up to the Constitution, and requiring every elected official in King County, no matter what their position is, to have a Q&A once a quarter so people can ask a question and get an answer back. This disgusting 2 minutes to talk about 3 or 4 agendas. 2 minutes! You know how deep this issue is when the executive hasn't heard one voice from the citizens, and you give us 2 minutes to speak about an issue. There's too much to talk about. So I don't want to talk about one little point when there's 15 points to talk about. Give a half hour at that table for people to have their concerns to talk to you in depth about the issue. When is the executive going to open up the agenda and his office so people can speak to him openly? When is he going to stop doing this political campaign, making it look how good I am? Sitting here giving out awards to people, but then when it comes time for concerns that people have to talk about the executive to acquire a report, he can't acquire anything if he doesn't know what the people want.
When are you going to begin speaking?
Excuse me, it's by 2 minutes. This is specifically about the ordinance. It's about the executive.
No.
What I'm concerned with is the executive is going to have all this power to do as he will without the people's will, without me having access to him. I think this exactly touches the agenda. How can you say that what I'm saying doesn't touch the agenda when I have the freedom of speech, freedom of idea, freedom of thought, freedom of... Who are you? English aristocrats? Do you have power over me, the citizen? I don't think so. I have the freedom of speech, and I think that the executive has too much power when he doesn't listen to the people. When I have... Kathy Lambert, can you get off your cell phone and look at me when I speak, because I'm a citizen here speaking to you. I would like you to stay off your cell phone while the citizens are speaking.
Your time is up, sir.
Yes, I'm done.
Mr. Zimmerman.
Hi, my name is Alex Zimmerman, and I'm a little bit older and have experience with many crook in my life. Guy, you're very interesting kinds of people. We talking to you, zero reaction. You always 15
Are you going to speak to the ordinances that are before
Yeah,
us or not?
absolutely. And stop interrupt me. You know what I mean? You're my employee, so please stop interrupt me.
Then you need to get specific to why we're providing you with opportunity to speak to us.
I'm totally confused. How you can, like a chair, play this stupidity? Pardon, play a stupid. Don't understand what is we doing this every day for the last few years. You come to this place, you want to speak everything. Look how many people want to speak to you. Look, 2 million people. Why you ignore this? Who are you? And I told you before many times, you organized criminal, a mafia, a family, organized criminal family who steal money and kill people. There's nothing for free in this world. When you don't doing something, it's very important.
Mr. Chair, I think he's impugning the motives.
We're going to cut you off.
You cut me over many times. It's not legal. It's not a constitutional. I have right.
No. I cut you off, sir. We'll be at recess for a moment.
It's not a business what is you doing right now. It's not a common business what is supposed to be doing people.
This is how we're dealing with you. All right. The next 3 names are